Programming, I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grundler. We're back. I'm back.
Yeah, you're back.
Gone. Bill's back. Bill came back. I left. And now we're both back.
We're trying to shove it all down everyone's throat all in one time.
We're going to ram
open wide
4 semifinal, in-person, standard, not standard qualifying events down your throat over the next 3 days.
Dude, seriously.
So get ready.
I'm coming right off my little fire thing. We're going to ram this down your throat like a fire hose.
Yeah, y'all be drinking from analyzing the programming fire hose over the next 3 days.
Totally.
Because we were going to stretch this out through Friday, but now we got to compress it through Thursday.
Yeah, sorry.
We may do 2 back-to-backs tomorrow.
We'll see what happens. We'll get them done.
The one thing you guys need to know, and this is the one everybody's been waiting for, is that NorCal will be on Thursday.
Yes.
Right? So we're saving the best for last.
You could say the best. It's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't say the best, but we're just saying we'll say
a lot of points to talk about.
Best show for last.
A lot of points to talk about.
Although we still have to do the last chance qualifier.
Oh God.
You got to rank the semifinals. We have to.
Hey, all right. Hey, what if we do this then? Since we have the last chance.
Mm-hmm.
What if we do today, tomorrow, Thursday?
Okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday
of next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, I mean, we already have the last chance anyway. So if we're already going to go into the next week, then why?
Why double it up? Okay.
I mean, that was me. That was me because I got to go see my mom this weekend. So
you gotta see your mom. Yeah, see your mom. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. You guys got 3 shows this week. You got 2 shows next week.
Oh man,
but we will do NorCal on Thursday.
Yes,
NorCal on Thursday. So set your schedules. It's in the upcoming thing. On at same time as we're doing now, we'll be NorCal. So maybe today we're doing Rebel today.
We're doing Rebel
today. All 9 events. We got to get through 9 events in the next 57 minutes.
Let's do it. Well, we can knock out 2 of them?
That's true. 2 of them are already repeated. The guys are like, hey, which ones did Mayhem program? The ones that had the same events.
Yeah, it's
all 4 of them, which was Wadland, Rebel, Copa Sur, and Mayhem, obviously.
Yeah.
And what's the other one that they did? I thought they did 4.
Did they have it at TFX?
No. They just had TFX just had Heavy Isabelle. But yeah, so 9 events. So this was a concern raised with our new scoring system of, well, if there's going to be more events, are they going to get penalized more? Maybe, maybe not. Because the way it's going to shake out is, and me and Bill have said this since the beginning, it's way harder to program a balanced test overall with less events. It's way easier with more events. More events doesn't necessarily mean they're going to get more points taken away unless they screw it up event by event. You'll probably see, well, I would say this. There would be more leniency event by event because we only look at them in silos, right? We'll judge each individual event as it goes. Now, if they just totally screw it up, that's not our fault.
Well, I think it shows up at the end where it's like, how is it all put together?
Right.
How is it all it was either you didn't test enough or you didn't get it balanced or this was a completely worthless event or you just overkilled for no reason or we did that with TFX. We were really worried about the number that was there.
French soda. Yes.
Thanks, Barker.
Augustus, yes. I do not want to see another Heavy as well. It's so funny is that I was so excited for that.
I've never seen a workout that everyone was so excited about that got just everyone just
on it. I believe there is a reason for that, which also is a reason for somewhat standardized programming, but regionally locked semifinals. Yeah. We're sick of seeing the same people do the same thing. That's what we're sick of. We're not sick of seeing new people do the same thing.
Right. When you see one athlete do it 4 times.
Right. I don't want to see Colton Mertens do Heavy Isabelle 6 times. About as much as Colton Mertens doesn't want to do Heavy Isabelle 6 times.
Right.
Yeah. I'm tired of seeing the same people compete. I want to see you compete once in semifinals, and then all of you compete against each other at the games.
I want you to have
that is a whole other show.
Totally.
For a later date.
And it'll be a good one too.
For a later date. All right, let's get into it. Event number 1 was the Mayhem 30-30-30.
Cool. So, whatever. Move on.
Great. We like it.
Love it.
No point deductions. No point deductions there. We've enjoyed it. I'm assuming that's Jake, right? I'm sick of bench not being in the open. You and Larry Young. Probably right. The two. Now, here's the second event. So first event, sprintish, bar muscle up, bike, bar muscle up. Now they have the triple threes in reverse. So 3K run, 3,000 double, 300 double unders, 3K row. It's 9 events. It's just straight monostructural work. Now, in the scheme, technically all the movements are the same modality, but I don't look at that as a single modality, right? So, yes, they're all monostructural, but this is a chipper. There are 3 different movements within the modality. So that's why you won't see single modality in a chip. Like DT is a triplet, not a single modality. It's not a single movement. Now, if it was just a 5K run, yes, that's a single modality.
Isabelle. Heavy Isabelle is a single modality. Heavy Isabelle,
single modality. Yes. All right. Long. I've always enjoyed the triple threes as an event.
Why would you switch the order?
Maybe just to switch it up.
So you make the actual race that no one can see on the row.
Well, no one can see the run either. Let me say
I'm talking about the people that are there. I'm talking about the people that are there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can say that about every semifinal event.
No, I know. I just I
will say this though, for the Rebel broadcast, I thought was fantastic.
Oh, cool.
They did a great job. Their graphics were awesome. Each athlete got an individual lower third. The teams had a collective lower. They took all the pictures of the athletes when they showed up, and then as they announced them, they brought that in. I thought that was really cool. I think the WPF did the same thing, or at least they had them. They did the Monday Night Football name thing, but I like it, and I like the twist here. And Spin just said it, is putting the row at the end is brutal. I think starting off with the run makes the run matter more than the row did if it were first. If that makes sense. And the impact on your legs is more going into the double unders, right? The row is not going to blow up your double unders as much as the run's going to. I do believe that it's a really different stimulus, and I like it. I like it.
I'm not against the stimulus. It's just if you're going to use something that's so iconic, that's been used at the games, been used in regionals,
right? And so instead of doing it again, you flipped it.
Yeah, that's just a weak flip. But I get it. It's fine.
It doesn't bother me.
It's fine. It just doesn't excite me.
Was it more professional than Syndicate? I don't know if professional is the right word to use.
I don't think professional has been used correctly in our space for
I
a
would
long
say
time.
I don't think Syndicate would want it to be labeled as, quote, a professional broadcast. They just wanted to be their broadcast, and what they did was fantastic. I'm sorry, what you did, Bill.
Thank you very much.
I'm taking nothing away here. I like
fine.
the long
It's
test.
That's a good one to have. They checked a lot of boxes with it.
They checked a lot of boxes. Now, one thing we will see here is, since there's 9 events total, the question is all right, we did a straight monostructural event. Are we going to see balance there somewhere within the 9 events that were programmed?
Well, yeah. And if you're looking at this style, okay, you better not. I mean, ideally, if I'm looking at justice alone and not knowing what's coming up, quote unquote,
right?
It's you better not touch any of those things again.
Right.
Or you need to balance whatever you have. If there's anything else that's remotely like that, it's you see, you messed it.
That's a good point. which we may need to see at the end of this. All right, event number 3. Two things that bothered me overall. Another left to the right is their graphics all had individuals and teams on all the announcement graphics.
I know.
That was really annoying. Or they just didn't have them. And I had to like somehow pull them off the broadcast stream, but sometimes they wouldn't even put it on the broadcast stream. But like I said, the broadcast was great. I thought they did an excellent job for a semifinal, doing it on their own with no help whatsoever. I couldn't really access the leaderboard, which was really annoying because you had to download the app, and then I heard that didn't even work.
I know. I did because of that. I was like, you have to download the... I'm out.
Yep, no.
I'm out.
Event 3. 2 rounds, 3 legless rope climbs. I'm assuming to 15-ish feet. It was a big ish.
That's been the whole semi-series. Has been a big ish for rope climbs.
And then 18 meters down and back of overhead walking lunges with 53s and 35-pound kettlebells. Mm-hmm. Into 2 rounds of 3 regular rope climbs. And then 18 down and back of just kettlebells on your shoulders. Which I found interesting is that you programmed the harder part first and the easier part second. Which maybe I don't necessarily have any issue with that. The one thing I might entertain, and this would go into testing, and that's up to the event to do, is would you want to split the more difficult gymnastic move with the lesser difficult weightlifting move and vice versa between the 2 sets? But for what it was, I mean, 2 rounds of 3 overhead lunges, 2 rounds of regular. It just allows you, it's like doing a 21-15-9 format, right? We've lessened the reps to keep the intensity.
Just keep it intensity. That's all it is. Yeah.
Just a short sub 10. Putting some pulling into the equation. Haven't had that yet. A little bit with the bar muscle ups. Actually, more with bar muscle ups than you would with the ring muscle ups. But for this event, as an individual event, isolated by itself, I like this more than the TFX version.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm not saying that to throw TFX under the bus. I'm just saying there's a bit more balance within the movements, right? It wasn't just a sprint, throwaway, nothing.
Yeah, it seems like this one, without having the programmers here to explain what they're looking for here, instead of it being, okay, we're going to test your rope climbs, we just want to test if you can race it. Like, we actually just want them to race it. So that would be the only reason why I would think that there would be, 6 legless rope climbs for people that want to get to the games,
right,
is nothing.
No, but the intensity that may create
would ramp that up.
Yeah.
Which and then allow you, and then when you get to legless, when you get to the regular, then you're not now impaired or slowed down by the fact that like your arms are blown up. Mm-hmm. You really don't need them other than to hang onto the rope anyway. So you're using your legs a lot more. So it is an interesting stimulus where it makes them have to race
hard,
and they actually really get to race, which is cool.
I kind of like that. The more you explain it, because the other way, say you just flip these,
then it's strictly rope climb event,
right? Then you're like, all right, it's a buy-in, and then we're all waiting to get to the legless, and really it's the second round.
Yeah.
When you have it this way, you can sprint the first 3.
Yep.
Get those kettlebells over your head. Don't screw it up. Sprint the other 3 again. Legless are over now.
Yep.
Now it's like, how soon can I get back to the rope without screwing up these overhead lunges? And now I'm racing legs.
And you don't have to support overhead. Now it's like, okay, now it's just like your engine and grit, like get your ass going.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not taking anything away here.
No, I'm good on that one too.
That, guys, so far. All right, heavy Isabelle.
Cool.
Check. We like it. Nice. Okay. Sing modality. None. All right. Intervals. No.
Was there a memo that was sent out to every single event?
It's funny because heavy Isabelle, if I remember correctly, wasn't supposed to be at all of them, but it ended up being like that because Mayhem programmed it at the same time. Syndicate programmed it. And then floated to TFX, and then finally like, all right, we're all going to do it.
Right.
Including the games team.
Right.
So, man, I was really worried they're going to put Heavy Isabelle in the last chance qualifier.
I thought for sure they were.
I'm so glad they did.
I was like, please don't.
I'm so glad
they
did it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the nice thing is that, like, if you think about it, like everyone that got the chance to go to the last chance qual, they already did it. So they shouldn't have to do it again.
True. Yeah, and that's another thing that we'll talk about the last chance qualifier, because I've heard people talking. It's like, well, there wasn't a heavy thing tested. I was like, the last chance qualifier is an extension of semifinals.
Yep.
We'll throw that out there. All right, back to this. Max reps, shoulder overhead, 155 and 105-ish on the weights. Here's the thing I like about this. Okay, it's a 2-2-2-3. It's a 1 minute rest. We've seen this before. The ski erg, the lateral burpees over the bar, all that is press,
Totally.
and then like this is a WMG JT-ish 3 different plane pressing event.
Yeah.
Where it all comes down to the shoulder overhead. So some might see 155 and 105 as kind of a light weight. I mean, they were doing that with overhead squats 6 years ago for 75 reps, which is much more difficult than shoulder overhead. But the interference with the ski erg on the pull down, the interference with the burpees on the press over and the jump, and now you have to do both movements that got weirdly taxed, right? That quarter squat taxing and flexion on the ski erg, the extension pressing and hopping over the bar, and now I have to use hip extension, legs, and a shoulder stability to do these over. After sitting with this for a little bit, I really like this interval. The only thing I wish they had, and this is where I'll bring my first points out, is that there's no finish line.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
But and for an interval test, this is one of the better ones I saw, minus not having a finish line.
Yeah, it's a fun mix of pieces for sure.
Oh, Larry. Larry became a member. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Larry. I thought he did barefoot working out yesterday, and he was lifting some heavy back squat in like Birkenstocks. And then he puts his shoes on for toes to bar. I'm like, all right, man, we need to have a talk.
That's great.
I just like the movements better. I think that I like max shoulder to overhead because there is a definite wall that you hit.
Yes.
And so it's like max, because you're just going to keep on going, you'll go to a point, and then all of a sudden now you're just fighting straight fatigue, especially that last round. But I really do wish that they would have put the finish line, even on this one. Like it's a fast movement. So this one would be massive, really need to be tested to find out, okay, with a lot of that quick movement, what kind of numbers do you want to have the finish line be?
I mean, okay, so say you had the 2 minute interval, 15, 12, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Lateral burpees over bar, 12 of those.
You're like 30,
30 seconds,
40
now
seconds.
Transitions.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not getting a whole 30 to 45 seconds.
Right. But think about that.
That's a long time of shoulder overhead, though.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you will go and you will shut down quickly. You'll be able to bust out. I mean, I think you could move the bar very quickly to a point.
Would you say 50?
50 reps?
50 reps.
I mean, total or like in 40?
Total. That's your finish line.
Oh.
So think, say on the first round, you got 45 seconds. If you're cycling that, if you got 15, that's going
to be your big set.
And that's a shit ton, because there's so much pressing interference here.
Yeah.
So
okay,
can you get 20 and then 2 more sets of 15? Can you go 20, 17,
right?
13?
See, the finish line just makes it be so much more of a, okay, I now need to really push the first one. If you don't push the first one all out, so that you're able to kind of spread it out, it's a total different race.
Also, if you push it too much, though, you're done.
Exactly.
Because
but that's what you want, though. You want that Noah Olsen effect.
I think 50 is I like that. Good number.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. We just did that in 5 seconds. 5 minutes. And yeah, spin. So spin watches that it's super fun. So no finish line. Just being consistent.
Yeah, totally.
Listen, guys, we're 5 events in. We just got your first deduction.
Pretty good.
I mean, if this is Syndicate Crown,
pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good, although you're over. Okay. Now, single modality, heavy day, max lift. We've done heavy Isabelle already. Strength, stamina. This is just pure strength.
Yep.
With a complex. 1 clean, 2 hang clean, 3 attempts. So from the floor and then 2 from the hang. Can squat, not squat. It's up to you. We have done a triple threes. Again, we're not isolating just yet. We're just looking at it on its own. So as a strength test, looking at it by itself, Bill, I don't really have anything other than like, oh, I hate 1 rep maxes.
No,
but it's a complex. I can't legit take away something individually as it stands in a standalone event, because that's what we're doing right now. We're doing standalone first. We'll do overall encompassing event later.
I feel that if they,
it doesn't excite
the test to me is hang cleans, and when we do a hang clean, like what I've seen people do is that wicked bounce thing.
Oh yeah.
And so you're not even like you're not even getting a true strength test out of it. I would have rather them said 3 touch and go cleans. That's what I would have rather it have been, rather than 1 clean
something like that,
and 2 hang cleans. Because now the
yeah.
I don't.
Oh, breaking news! Did Lido find something Spin couldn't?
No way.
Uh-oh. So Lido and Spin have been talking this entire time because we couldn't find the leaderboard because they said you could only find it on the app. But Lido says she found it somehow, some way, and Spin does not believe her.
I don't know if I believe her either.
Lido, put the link in the chat if you found it.
I gotta go a 0.1 at least, because I just for a strength test,
the rep
test the hang clean.
Honestly, if you just did
3 cleans, 3 touch and go cleans would be way better.
Or something I've always liked is power clean, hang clean, full clean.
Because
that
would be fine too.
I get bottom starting position, above parallel finish position, hang starting position, below parallel finish position, and then the full thing basically combining the 2 you just did. Where the power should be the most difficult one to get as much weight as you can, you should be able to do a hang, because taking it from the hang for, I don't want to say all people, is a bit easier than from the floor. You get that first pull out of the way, you can put the bar exactly where you want it in the best position you could be in. You're receiving it in a squat, so you shouldn't be able to power more than you hang. For most people, I probably can power more than I can hang, but I was a dog shit front squatter.
No, if you're a good athlete, you're right. Like in fact, the more we're talking about this, the closer I'm getting to 1, because I think it's a garbage event.
Ooh, I always thought we were sitting at a 0.1 here.
Well, no, we were, and then I was like, okay, well, is this an imbalance of a modality? Like, what do we test? I would say that we're incorrectly testing strength.
Ooh,
a hang clean. Like all the clean is to get it to the front rack so you can do the hang clean.
Okay.
3 cleans, 3 touch and go cleans. I would be like, I would like it way, like I could score it way less. But like,
I'll meet you in the middle at 0.5, because the more we do talk about this and how easy we just fixed all of these things that we don't like.
Do you think it's a relevant event?
A heavy. Well, it's just by itself.
No. I got. It's a strength test. Do you think it's a relevant strength test, or is it a garbage test?
I don't think it's a garbage test.
Why?
I think you're gonna get near what you want with what you want to do that you'll get here. But I like your setup better, just like I like my complex better. But
Because it's a relevant test of strength.
Oh, here's why I say I won't say a throwaway event. If you're testing strength, what you're testing for, you're still going to get with this complex. And who you're trying to test for. You're going to get the same people. Whether they do your test, my test, or this test. It'll be the same people. So if it were to like totally, if this screws up who does well here, then yeah, I think it's a throwaway event because you totally missed the mark. But if you're just trying to find the strongest people here, you're still going to get it, even though I don't like this complex. So I would still give it a 0.5 because you're still getting the same result.
I think it's trash, but I'll go with 0.5.
Okay. Oh, that's funny. All right, 0.5.
And I like the heavy shit. That's what's so funny. That's why, like that's for me. Like, I don't just because it's we've talked to our 1 rep max stuff. We've done that so many times and where it fits.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it has a little bit more of a chance when you have 900 events. Okay. Mm-hmm. It allows itself to work its way in there a little bit more. I just am bummed that like that's what we're testing is a hang clean.
Yeah.
But I get it. 5.5. I'm good on that.
All right. Handstand walk, sprint knockout. So knockout format, kind of like the speed skill medley from the games in 22, where it was increasing difficulty of skills or adding of skills to the complex as it goes through. So the first one was just 36-meter handstand race, which I think that'd be really fun to watch. I really do.
Well, we've seen those before. We've seen those before at the games, and we've done that. That's not a. We've done that at regionals too.
Right, and coming off what we just did, again, we're still isolating. It was like, I was like, okay, the endurance people got theirs, the strongest people got theirs, and okay, what are we gonna do for the gymnasts? Well, here you go.
Yep.
All right, version 2, 6-meter handstand walk, 6 meter plus 2 pirouettes, I think within that, and then a 6-meter handstand walk. Okay. Top 5, 6-meter handstand walk, 2 pirouettes, handstand walk with 3 freestanding push-ups. So I think like in that 6-meter section, it might have those circles in them, and then it might have those pads in them. I didn't get to see this. And then last one is handstand walk with 2 pirouettes, handstand walk with 3 freestanding handstand push-ups, handstand walk upstairs and over a ramp. So the old ramps. Fine. It's a sprint. It's all gymnastics. Okay. I would have liked to see.
I'm 0.1. Take out that. Take out the top 2 crap.
Top 2.
That whole last race. The whole last race where you pull out all the ramps and the.
Well, they're just trying to do the duel that Rogue does.
Yeah, no, and I didn't like that one either.
That's true.
So I'm being consistent. I just like you already had the race. You already had it. Now you're gonna test them on the ramp. Like, come on. It's
so 0.1.
0.1.
Too many rounds.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
what do I put here?
Irrelevant final.
Irrelevant.
Do you agree with that or no? Do you think that's even needed? I mean, I get the showcase, but like as far as what we're testing and what we're trying to get,
I would say I don't mind the dual finish.
You always like the dual. When we do.
No, I've always hated the dual.
Really? You don't like? You don't like the ending of the last 2?
No, well, let me say this. I like knockout stuff. I just hate the way they're run because they're always run poorly.
Okay.
That's not a programming thing. I don't mind the top. I don't have a problem with the top 2 because that has nothing to do with the programming as much. I don't mind.
The reason I don't like it is because we're.
Thank you, Dents.
I don't see the need to change the race because it is a different race than what you had on the one previous to that with only 5.
I mean, they're all different races.
Oh, I know, but But what is the point of trying to differentiate between the top 1 and 2 when you just got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like, why do you need to do that?
Just for the show.
Just for the show, like, okay, I'm better than you in everything, but because I lost to you, I beat you in every single race, but because I got a little wonky on the ramp, I'm now second.
But you could say the same thing with the person who was better at the sprint walk, and now they have to do pirouettes. You could say the same thing with the freestanders versus the pirouettes. You could use that same argument all the way through.
Yeah,
I don't really have. I think 0.1's harsh just for the top
that's
two.
Fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm not trying to argue more.
No,
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not trying to argue more. I mean, I think what it is as far as like a straight gymnastics, cool. I mean,
yeah,
it's no different than when they did that at the games. I'm cool with that. What's up?
Dylan's done. All right, you guys can watch a show until I get done. Tell Dylan to change into his jiu-jitsu outfit. All right. Yeah, I don't. Okay. I understand. It's like, what are we getting that we didn't get in the top 5? I understand that, but we say this a lot. Is like we wish people would program more fun things to watch. Right? Like, this is it. I mean, I'm sure everybody there was like, hell yeah, top 2, throw a ramp in there. I enjoy that.
All right, so check this out then.
Okay.
The first race, make that your top 10 race. So you have your pirouettes. It's like, okay, you guys all want to go to the games. Everyone should be able to do handstand walks. Okay, cool. We're check. That's not even a race.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Just bump it up so that so your top 5 are doing the. So it's a race. I get it. I understand, but
yeah.
I think it's a waste. It's a waste of a tool using that ramp for 2 people.
Yeah.
That's what I think, I guess. Maybe that's a better way.
Again, I don't think it changes. Lito, do we like it if the event like that keeps someone out of the game since it's hard to make up for a bad finish in a field?
You mean like Sam Briggs?
Sam Briggs, 2014?
David's daughter?
Yeah, catching David's daughter?
Yeah.
Well, that's why I like the slow crescendo of skills.
And I'm not against that either. I just think that having like the final 2 people go, that just seems weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Do you have a 0.05? They're still doing really well. Still
doing really well. Okay. I think we just have a 0.1 and a 0.5.
Yeah.
All right. 8, chipper, 100 wall ball shots, 80 toes to bar, 60 cal bike erg, 40 burpee box jump overs at 30 and 24. So 4 to 5 minutes there. Well, we'll say 4-ish. Yeah, 4 to 5. 4. It depends on the people.
Yeah.
Toes to bar, cals.
Another 4.
Yeah. I mean, that time cap, 4, 4, 4 all the way through. Yeah. 10 burpees. And that is a time cap that is going to make you move your butt.
This is very old. This reminds me of an old school, like old regionals chipper.
Yeah. It's almost a blend of the hundreds chipper from 2013 and the final chipper. No, not the final. The 100 double under, handstand walk, toes to bar.
Oh yeah,
axle bar, overhead, and then at front rack lunge to the finish.
Yeah,
which ate my lunch. It's like, Chase, what'd you get in the last 3 events at regionals in 2013? Last.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Ask me what I got before that. As chippers go, I like this.
Same.
I like the balance between movements, the time domain between movements. Bike ergs, 60 cals. That'll take you about 3 minutes to do that one, 3 to 4, depending on the athlete. Because to me, I'm reading this as 60 cals, men and women. Which I think they had less on the Mayhem one, but not here. Again, as chippers go, I like it.
No, I'll save it for the end part.
Okay. I mean, we do have a,
Yeah.
I think I know what you're saying.
Okay.
But do you have anything on this specifically?
No, this by itself I like.
I love a wall ball toe to bar combo.
Dude, they've done that. Like, that's so classic, like regional style. Like going from the rig and moving out like that and then going to the floor.
And you got leg press, core flexion and hanging, back to legs only, into press from the floor and jumping on and off a 30-inch box with that leg fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it. Classic chipper. All right, the finale. 3 rounds for time, 18 deadlifts. Now 125 and 93. I think that's 275 and like 215.
That's about right.
Maybe ish. Close enough. 12 strict handstand push-ups, 6 ring muscle-ups. Things I like about this is that it's pretty fast paced. No one's breaking the deadlifts if you're trying to make the CrossFit Games. No one's breaking the strict handstand push-ups if you're in the running to make the CrossFit Games. And after all of that, you have to do ring muscle-ups after. And we know the hardest part of a ring muscle-up is the dip. And I just stressed my shoulders and traps with the deadlifts. I've definitely stressed my shoulders and traps and lockout with the handstand push-ups. And the one thing that just has the little 6 by it could mean a lot more if you are not prepared for that fatigue level in that pressing situation, which when we get to the end, I feel like there's a lot of events we've seen so far that is heavy dependent on a gymnastics, shoulder to overhead pressing movement or weightlifting.
Yeah.
I think,
dude, I really do like this event.
I like the numbers.
Yeah.
For a finale at the end, I don't think it's over-programmed. I mean, 18 deadlift, like that's a good number at that weight. Like that is just it's a weird number. 18, 275, round 1, no problem. Round 2, those last 6 or 7, I did not enjoy. And then round 3, who knows?
You're blacking out at that point. You're not even thinking about it.
And then you got to get upside down. Like the amount of freaking hinging and being inverted and then coming over the top of the...
Dude, it's wild. We literally did a workout like this in the gym yesterday. It was a 12-minute AMRAP of 18... What do we have the 18? 18, was it deadlifts? 18 deadlifts. No. It was 18 box jump overs at 30 inches.
Okay.
It was 12 handstand push-ups, and it was 6 overhead squats at 205, 145.
Oh.
But same kind of thing where it's like you can do all of these. Mm-hmm. You just have to make sure you do all of these.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Yeah.
It was awesome. I like this because this one it makes you ride the line. You gotta be Icarus on this one.
Ooh.
You gotta just ride. Like how close can you get without burning your wings?
I love when you do that. Okay. Now you guys can stare at these graphs for a little bit of time before you get bored. But you have to look at them because I spent a long time making them. So I'm going to force you to take that in. Things to note. Gymnastics pressing, 57% of the movements were pressing. This is why I make the graphs. Time domains, a lot of short, few sprints. Okay, heavy day. We had 1 moderate and 1 long. So a little heavy on the short time domains and the sprints. Monostructural, we had 6 different ones. 2 bikes. That being said, 2, I would say different stimulus bikes. Like there's a reason why all the pussies in your gym run to the C2 bike on run day. And they fight over it like a bunch of rats with a crumb that are all trying to get.
That's funny.
And in my gym, I'm like, absolutely not. You get your ass on the assault bike or the echo bike. You're not going to sit there and just shoot the breeze on the Concept 2 bike because it's the easiest machine ever programmed.
Right.
So, schemes, 2 single modality tests. 1, both of those were weightlifting. 2 triplets, a lot of chippers. I have a question for you because I didn't really know how to categorize this. I think it's event 3 with the legless kettlebell couplet. And then the regular rope climb kettlebell couplet. 2 and 2. Technically, it's 2 couplets, but they're in chipper format. I didn't really know. I put that as a chipper. Because I was like, well, it's not a couplet because there's 4 movements, but it's kind of a quadruplet, but they don't play together. I don't know. I didn't know what
I don't know if I would call it a couplet because a couplet means once you are done with that one, you're done with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an element of that, yes, after you get to the second round, but I would say that I would say it's a couplet. I would say it's rope climbing and it's lunges.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think it just plays closer to that. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
It's kind of a unique setup to put it into a thing. I mean, there's a chipper element, there's a couplet element, there's a quadruplet element, but generally speaking, we have rope climbs and we have lunges.
All right. Then I'll take off one of those chippers. I'm cool with that. I just was stuck.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
Things sometimes my brain just stops working. A lot of low volume events.
Yeah. Didn't
really have a moderate one. Now, when you see body weight, that just means movements that were either gymnastics or like monostructural. Like this is more like external loads. So it's like 19. I'm like, yes, most of the things we do are not there. Although it was fairly heavy on the gymnastics. 11 gymnastics movements versus 7 weightlifting. A lot of monostructural in there as well, but you can do that when you have 9 events. Again, that's what we said, the luxury of more events. This was over the course of 4 days. It's the only event that was 4 days. The only event that had more than 7 different events individually. Some double scores, but I don't really count that. But yeah, okay, so bar muscle up, little press in there. Legless, no. Lateral burpee, pressing. Handstand walk, pressing. Pirouette, pressing. Freestanding handstand push-up, pressing. Handstand walk, pressing. Burpee, pressing. And we had burpee.
Yeah.
Strict handstand push-ups and ring muscle-ups. That is a lot of pressing of gymnastics. On the weightlifting side, overhead walking lunge, overhead snatch, overhead clean, hang clean, no. Wall ball overhead, deadlift overhead. Right. I forgot to put the shoulder overhead in there, which was a big,
totally
huge one. Which is interesting because when we talk about mayhem itself and the whole, there's so much squatting, and I was like, not really. I mean, it's intensive lower body, but there's not a lot of squatting. There's so much overhead.
Pure overhead.
Pure overhead. All right, so here's the thing that really annoys me with their damn graphics is because this last page looks like a serial killer put it together. Because I couldn't get all the normal graphics. This is the only event that did this to me, and of course it had to have 9 events.
Well, but the nice thing is I could actually read that one. I can't read it with all the the picture of the other one.
All right, Bill, only 0.6 on individual events. Mm-hmm. Now, overall, the amount of short time domains that we had versus the rest, which was like 5 to 2 and 2. Right. Now, 5 sprints and shorts. One of those was a heavy day. Or sorry, one of those didn't even count was a heavy day.
Yep.
We only had 1 moderate and 1 long time domain. That being said, those short ranges had a wide range. And us, short is 10 or below. That isn't a sprint. So a range from even 4 minutes, like 4 minutes does not designate a sprint. For example, heavy Isabelle, people could break 4 minutes. No one was sprinting that. It was just a short event.
Right.
Handstand walk, that was a dead sprint. The bike bar muscle up bike was a sprint, and it took the same amount of time as heavy Isabelle. So we're talking about perceived efforts. It wasn't as gross of a short time domain as maybe it reads on paper. But
I'd agree with that.
Because like the interval one, I put as short.
I think that is 2. What is that? 9 minutes.
Minutes of work.
Right.
But it wasn't a weird, oh, this is short like this one. Like none of the events to me really paralleled each other in terms of like, oh, well, this is short, that was short. It wasn't like 2015 CrossFit Games.
Right.
Like everything was short. And I wonder why Dan Bailey did so well.
Exactly.
So I'm not now. The two questions I want to ask you. We have two bike movements, one Echo bike, one a bike erg, both done extremely different ways. The Echo bike being the sprint at the beginning and the end of the Mayhem 30s, the C2 bike being in the middle of a chipper. And the way it's placed is almost kind of like a placeholder. But we bike twice. How do you look at that compared to burping twice? Because we did lateral burpees over a bar, which is part of the interval one up here. It was only 12 at a time. So if you got to the third round, it's 48 total.
Right.
But then we have burpee box jumps at 30 inches for 40 reps. I don't look at those as the same movement, even though both of them start with a burpee. So how do you look at the two as far as programmed in a 9-event test?
I think the fact that you have 9 events and you have to put burpees in twice, regardless of the differences between the two, a short bar versus a 30-inch box. And then the same thing with the bike. Like the fact that you're putting it in twice when you have 9 events, all that does to me is lead to you didn't need to have all this because you obviously had so many events that now you're finding redundancy.
Okay.
And you're having to tweak that redundancy just to put it in there.
Yeah.
Just because it's not grossly wrong doesn't mean that it's the correct way to program it. It's like I want you to write me an essay about the colors of this can, and so what you do now is you give me like a 4.5-page essay about every possible color that is in the spectrum, which aren't necessarily wrong, but like all you're doing is you're just like vomiting everything out there. Hoping that like it's going to be okay because I got everything. You can't say I didn't get something because I got it all. And I don't.
Do you think the burpees were even necessary in the chipper?
I would have just made those box jump overs.
Yeah.
I mean, like you didn't need. That's what I mean. Like you didn't need to do it. You didn't need to do it that way.
You know what that would have done too? It would have put more onus on the bike.
Yes. Yeah.
But also at the same time, you're like, okay, I can't bike slow because it's going to be really hard to catch someone on box jump overs. Now it's 30 and 24 inches, so that does make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But on the bike is like, all right, I got to hammer down on these burpee box jump overs, but you can only really go so fast on the burpee box jump over. It's that transition to the next rep is where you really separate yourself. So you're going to temper that bike a bit, knowing you're going to have time on the box. Now, how do you look at it with both bikes? Oh, soccer mom.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Right on. Very
Appreciate
cool.
that a lot. Thank you.
I do think that the
would you do 0.1 for both? Is just because we're doubling up on something, or is that the difference between doing, say, like barbell snatches and dumbbell snatches in the same weekend? Because it is two different machines that elicit two different stimuluses. Especially the way they're programmed.
I think the two burpees are a bigger issue than the two bikes because the Echo bike and the Concept 2 bike I do see as different. I mean, yeah, your legs are moving around the cranks the same way, but a Concept 2 bike, you're just sitting on it. Like you're cycling.
Yeah.
Whereas there's a lot more arm and everything else that's involved. I mean, more of your whole body on the Echo. But I can't do a 0.1. I would have to do a 0.5 for that because again, it just
for the burpee.
Because it doesn't need to be there. It's not an integral part.
Yeah.
And because you already have it, that looks to me like how could you not go like if I'm writing down all the stuff and there is a movement that is the same.
Yeah.
There is no way I would be cool with that. Like immediately, I wouldn't even think. I'm like, well, okay, burpee.
Yeah, okay.
I crossed it off the list.
So, for example, 2015 Open, they had burpees in week 1 and week 5.
Yeah, wrong.
Or the 2016 Open.
Yeah, that was incorrect.
And we have it's conspiracy theory of why that was the case.
Right. Right.
All right. I think that's fair. And that's a consistency thing. I would say a 0.5 for the burpees. I would do another 0.5 for the pressing.
For the heavy pressing?
Heavy emphasis on pressing.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact. Let me ask you this. If we have 9 events.
Yeah.
If you took the handstand walk out, that whole event,
right?
How much would that cut down your pressing?
I still think there's too much pressing.
Because you take the ramp, you take the handstand walk, you take the pirouettes. That's going to be 3 right there.
I think that's the least of your pressing problems because that's a extended static.
Because you're holding it,
right? I look at overhead walking lunges, ski erg, burpees over a bar.
Okay, so you take out the interval.
Overhead.
Take out the interval event.
Take out the interval event. Okay. And then I look at wall ball shots, burpees again.
Right.
Strict handstand push-ups and ring muscle-ups.
Okay. So if you take out the interval, just take that event totally out. You now took out your shoulder to overhead.
Yeah.
You took out burpees and you took out an extra the bike on that.
Oh, are you saying take out the interval one and the relay or the?
No. You, I'm saying
I would say kill the gymnastics relay and keep the interval. I like the interval one.
No, I like it. Well, you just said like why take the sprint out then if it doesn't really take away from any of the shoulder stuff is what I'm saying.
Oh, right.
I'm saying if they're gonna get knocked because they have too much pressing.
Okay, yeah. Well, and here's the thing: if I took out the gymnastics one, now the gymnastics people don't have an event.
That is true. So that's when that's one you can't take out because you're right. That's purely gymnastic, and we have pure monostructural. Okay,
I'm saying. All right, I'm sorry. So let me
go. Pure weightlifting, and then that's our pure gymnastic.
Yeah, so you got your 3 in there. And heavy Isabelle, we're looking at that as a strength stamina test, not a pure strength test.
Right.
No different than a work capacity test like a chipper. Okay, so if you took the interval out,
even though it's awesome,
it's great. I like it a lot. And 50 would have been just perfect. I still, that would have been better. I still think it's still,
Well, it is, but it's not like, damn, that's all shoulders.
Sure. Okay, take the interval out, take the burpees off the chipper at the end and just make it box jump overs. And then after that, I think you're good to go. Change the clean complex to whichever one, either one that we wanted.
Well, I guess the reason I was asking, instead of trying to retool their event, which we just solved it for them,
right?
Can we do it in less than 9 events and still get what we want? Is what I guess what I'm trying to say. Because do we need to have that? And if that's the case, do they need to be penalized for that, or should the event be penalized for that?
Lito, if this was a 9-event game, so the winner be the fittest on earth? Yes. Oh, here's one. Do you know what I'm going to ask you? Would you rather have this, no changes, or last year's CrossFit Games programming?
This. That took all of about 0.3 seconds.
I think as soon as I said, here's a question, you knew exactly what I was going to ask. And that is a good question, though.
It's a great question.
And here's the thing. These programming critiques are not in the realm of this was a bad overall test. We're just saying there was a bias here. But I don't think anyone didn't make the games that were worthy of making the games because of a lot of shoulder overhead, because it was still different. Right? There was a lot of gymnastics versions of pressing. There was a lot of weightlifting versions of pressing, but they weren't all the same version. There just was a lot of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
you had a 0.5 for. I just want to say what we're sitting at now. I took a 0.5 for the pressing bias. You took a 0.5 for the burpee.
The burpee. Yeah. The movement redundancy.
What else? I don't really have anything on the short time frame because, again, what's that one event we did where there was just like a lot of couplets, but they were still so different by the way they were put together. Right? Not all couplets are the same. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Some European event.
Um,
Which I say the same thing for short, right? Short being 4 to 10 minutes on our system. What else do you have? Because we took stuff on the individual events, but overall.
Okay, let me ask you this, and this might be a preference question. Okay. I mean, I think it's a
part of the show. So.
No, I know. Well, yes, you're right, but I mean, it might just be a personal bias, I guess, is maybe where it kind of falls.
Yeah.
And it was the the thumbnail question. Do you need to is this overkill? We had 4 days to qualify someone to the game.
Yeah, I would say there's no need. So I'll say this.
So this
you
is what
you can do what Mayhem did, and I think next year everybody should have 2-day qualifying competitions. More 3 days.
I think it should all be the same, but that's another question for another time.
Yeah. Well, I think it should all be the same.
Right.
2 days.
Well, okay. So is it a penalizable issue? Is it overkill for the athletes? Did they you can overprogram an event, right?
Okay, all right. So let's go through it. So 30, 30, 30, whatever. Triple threes is long, but it's not like brutal. I mean, it is while you're doing it. And then you have the
rope climbs and lunges.
Rope climb, okay. Heavy Isabelle, okay. Interval 1.
Okay.
Clean complex.
Fine.
I don't think you needed it, but with the other things in there that balances the modalities a bit more. The handstand walk relay, whatever. The chipper, whatever. The last one's.
I think the last 2 are the ones that are going to hurt. Yeah. I mean, really hurt. But even
I don't
that,
I don't see like a Dubai level demolishing of athletes.
No, I don't necessarily see that either. But we put these athletes on a 4-day competition. The game sometimes isn't 4 days.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's was it overkill for that? And I don't mean the beat down. I just mean in general.
The hard thing there is I could see it as did you need 4 days and 9 events? No. The way you programmed it over the course of 4 days and 9 events was okay for what it was. But I get it. I don't.
Well, and then
do that? No.
And again, all I'm doing, this is not, and I'm not trying to hack on them regardless, or I don't have a predisposition.
Wait, listen, the amount of chinks in the armor we're trying to find at JR, we can do this with everybody.
No, totally. But I don't think it necessarily needs to be. We've shown that you can get the right people in 2 days. Yes. We've shown that you can do it in, how many do they have? 5 events?
Mayhem did 5.
5 events. We've seen larger, more events like this one. But why? I guess is my question. And I'm not even necessarily trying to.
I think it's a good discussion topic. I don't know if I would take anything away from it.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think that they just added the 2 Mayhem events and it was 7 to start?
It feels like that's what they did here, and it also feels like that's what they did at the French Throwdown, and it feels like it feels like that's what they did at Copa Sur.
God, do you think that those 2 events just fucked up everybody?
I do.
Because I
really
JR planned on that was the centerpiece, and everyone else added it, just blanketly added it.
All right.
But I like all mine, so we're gonna put those in too.
All right. Final question, because we got to bounce. Take away the 2 Mayhem events. Heavy Isabelle and the sprint bike. So you have the 333, rope climb kettlebell, interval, clean complex, gymnastic knockout, chipper, and the finale. It is not a worse test.
No, not at all.
Not at all. And I would almost say little change. Because every modality still is kept in there. The 333s, the heavy complex, and the gymnastics knockout. It's all in there. You got a chipper, a triplet, a couplet.
Okay, so then the question is, did they hit all that because they just have so many events?
I mean, I think they got lucky. That's what I think.
I think in general, I do it. I mean, I honestly like doing this because I like it way better than I did, dude.
Me too.
Way better than.
And the format allows for 8.4. I did not think this was going to get at 8.4 when I first started.
I did not think that either.
But okay, what is that? A B?
8.4. It's a B.
Is that a solid B?
Yeah.
B. Because what is it? 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah.
9? No.
Yeah.
Is it a B?
5, 6, 7? 4, 5, 6, 7.
4, 5, 6. Is this a B plus?
Is Barkley still in here?
Barkley.
No, it's not a B plus. This is a B.
B? All right.
I think it's a B.
B. All right, team. We will be back here tomorrow, midday, at our normal time for the Torian Pro.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The Torian Pro. 12:15 Central. So stick with us there. We'll be back for those. Man, I'm curious, the Torian Pro, because as much as I was hesitant here and it got a B, from what I saw, I really enjoy the Torian Pro.
Yeah.
I'm almost, will it rival Syndicate?
I don't know.
We'll see. That's a great question. You know what? The answer to that question
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. See you guys.